Manson Bryant, 32, is a regular client in Judge Lucci's courtroom in the Lake County Court of Common Pleas, with a criminal history that traces back to 1999 when he was just a juvenile. The court records reveal he has faced prison sentences on at least 3 separate occasions for 4 cases. Interestingly, out of Bryant's numerous criminal engagements, Judge Lucci knows this frequent client too well. He has presided over at least 8 of them over the past 10 years. This includes the latest case from July 2018 concerning a home invasion in Paynesville Township. At the time of this arrest, Bryant was on parole. Charges and conviction. In his latest encounter with the law, Bryant faced severe charges.
The verdict was guilty in count 1, aggravated burglary, felony 1, guilty in count 2, aggravated burglary, felony 1, guilty in count 3, aggravated robbery, felony 1, guilty in count 4, felony 1, guilty in count 5, abduction, felony 3, and guilty in count 7, which I renumbered for the jury as count 6.
Bryant began with a seemingly sincere approach, admitting, "I've made a lifetime of bad decisions."
I know you very well aware of my history. I made a lifetime of bad decisions, and those bad decisions has caused pain to a lot of people in my family. For that, I am truly sorry. Most of my bad decisions have been driven by my addiction to drugs, and I respect the decisions that the juries have made.
Upon hearing that he was sentenced to 22 years in prison, Bryant lost his composure, exclaiming,
"Courtroom racist! Courtroom, man! You racist as You racist as nigga, 22 years! Racist! You ain't
Even though Bryant was initially staring down nearly 30 years in prison, Judge Lucci had intended to be lenient, considering Bryant showed a semblance of remorse. But Bryant's outburst prompted a change of heart from the judge. Caught in the heat of the moment, Judge Lucci declared,
The court determines maximum imprisonment, so it's 11 years on count 1, 11 years on count 3. So it's 28 years with credit for 231 days.
I don't want to hear it, man!
Despite his added sentence, Bryant's defiance continued. His attorneys eventually decided it best to waive his presence, leading to Bryant being escorted out of the courtroom by Lake County Sheriff's Office deputies. Judge Lucci reflected on the episode.
The defendant has shown me that he has no remorse whatsoever, and therefore the court determines that maximum imprisonment is needed. He poses the greatest likelihood of recidivism. So I believe I stated that restitution in the amount of $1,298 to victim Arturo Gonzalez, judgment rendered for that amount to be monitored by the Ohio Adult Parole Authority, payable through the clerk of courts. Defendants to forfeit all items in the specification, being the pistol and ammunition, to pay the costs of confinement, prosecution, supervision, treatment, and court costs.
Moreover, this wasn't Bryant's first display of vulgarity towards Judge Lucci. In 2014, after receiving a 12-month sentence for a guilty plea related to receiving stolen property, Bryant made a disrespectful remark directed at the judge. About 3 minutes after the incident, Judge Lucci, reflecting on the event, commented on Bryant's unexpected shift in behavior.
He seems so calm and cool and civil until the sentence.
Interestingly, in June 2023, a superior court eventually removed the additional 6 years from Bryant's sentence. A Lake County trial court could not increase a prison sentence based on the defendant's profanity-laced tirade against the judge, the Supreme Court of Ohio ruled.
This is the worst case I've ever seen as far as the facts go.
Ronnie O'Neal III stands at the heart of a chilling horror tale in Tampa, Florida. He is accused of the brutal murder of his girlfriend, Kenyatta Barron. His daughter, Ron Nevea, met a tragic end when O'Neal violently attacked her with an axe. His son, Ronnie IV, was not spared either. O'Neal brutally stabbed him and, in a dark twist, attempted to set him on fire and burn him alive, and set their house on fire in an attempt to cover up his crimes. During the incident, Kenyatta had called 911 to report Ronnie's erratic behavior. However, the call was cut short.
The evidence is going to show that
that I called 911 during Kenyatta Barron's 911 call.
Shortly after, Ronnie called 911, claiming to have been attacked by white demons and accusing Kenyatta of trying to kill him and that he just killed her.
I am not sorry for something I didn't do, and I am not sorry for the things I did do.
He expressed condolences for the victim's family's loss while criticizing the justice system, but I will say I'm sorry for your loss. Can you believe O'Neal decided to be his own lawyer in court? And man, he was something else, shouting at the jury and even trying to pin the blame on the victims. Unreal.
So we had to tamper with evidence.
O'Neal also cross-examined his son, whom he had nearly killed. Despite the trauma, the son bravely testified against him during the trial.
Beat your mom?
No,
Did you see me shoot your mom?
no,
And you said just a while ago, I stabbed you with a knife, right?
yes.
And what do you remember happening after the shooting with your mom outside?
You coming back inside and you getting my sister and then putting her in my parents' room and then you put her with the axe.
With zero legal experience, Ronnie O'Neal decided to be his own lawyer. And guess what? He spent most of his time yelling at the prosecutors and jury, just like during his opening statements. Talk about courtroom drama.
A fraudulent recording.
In his closing arguments, which is crazy enough, he screamed at the jury and said,
Evidence is going to show my son did not witness me viciously beat his mom to death.
The evidence notably affected Judge Michelle Cisco, who described the case as the worst she had seen in her 18-year career.
This is the worst case I've ever seen as far as the facts go.
She recounted witnessing various horrific crimes, but classified this as the most heinous. The jury recommended a life sentence without parole. Judge Cisco went with what the jury suggested and gave O'Neal 3 life sentences back-to-back with no chance of parole for those murder charges. On top of that, he got slapped with 30 years for setting that fire and another 90 years for what he did to those kids. That's a whole lot of time behind bars. O'Neal's subsequent request for a new trial was denied, even though he claimed he was denied the opportunity to testify. The court dismissed his defense that white demons influenced his actions. Get this, after that nightmare of a night, Detective Mike Blair, who was there for Ronnie IV right after the murders, ended up adopting him. Ronnie IV even took on the Blair last name. Now he's part of a big family with 7 of them in total. Mike's still blown away that Ronnie made it through all that, calling it a straight-up miracle. And the best part, Ronnie says he feels truly loved and knows he's part of his new family. In Waukesha, Wisconsin, Darrell Brooks stands trial for driving his SUV into a Christmas parade. 6 people died, and at least another 61 were injured when a red Ford Escape SUV driven by Brooks tore through the holiday parade in November 2021. Darrell Brooks fled the scene but was arrested in a residential neighborhood in Waukesha on the evening of the attack. People talked about how Brooks sped up to over 30 miles per hour and plowed into a crowd. They said he hit up to 68 people. Can you even imagine witnessing that? One chilling account mentioned, "He kept going until he got to the end, and there were no more bodies to hit. It was intentional." Darrell Brooks broke through barriers and immediately drove into the parade, rapidly hitting spectators, dancers, and band members, despite urgent calls for him to stop. Among the deceased were an 8-year-old boy and 3 women from the Milwaukee Dancing Grannies, a group that was participating in the parade. Darrell Brooks has been in and out of trouble with the law for ages. It seems like he's always been mixed up in some mess. Can you believe it? Brooks decided to represent himself in court. Who in their right mind would even attempt that? Judge Jennifer Doro explicitly warned him.
If you are allowed to represent yourself in this case, sir, you will not have attorneys assisting you. They're gone from this case. Do you understand that?
Brooks replied, believing he'd be better off on his own.
Probably be better served representing myself.
That trial was a wild ride. They had to kick Brooks out several times because he kept causing scenes. And can you believe he laughed when a witness was pouring their heart out? Talk about intense.
He told Erica that he was gonna find her and he was gonna kill her.
Brooks's behavior escalated further when he took issue with the district attorney pronouncing the word defendant. This led to a tense standoff where Brooks locked eyes with the judge. Expressing her discomfort, the judge stated,
"All right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared."
In her concluding remarks, Miss Opper, the prosecutor, expressed that she couldn't pinpoint the exact reason Mr. Brooks chose to drive into the parade, causing harm and death to numerous innocent bystanders. She emphasized to the jury that he continued driving through the crowd even after hitting several individuals, resulting in even more casualties. Some victims' families delivered emotional impact statements, recounting the profound pain and loss they experienced because of Darrell Brooks' actions.
On that day, many of us were reminded of the ugly in this world, that no matter what we do, there will always be monsters like Darrell Brooks that are lurking around corners, just waiting for a chance to play those parts in our nightmares. Yet even after causing this much pain and destruction, he wasn't even happy with that. He didn't stop there. He took it upon himself to be his own representation, knowing full well he would be given the chance to question us as victims and rip open the wounds once again and show no remorse.
After close to 3 hours of deliberations, the jury decisively found Brooks guilty on all 76 counts, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide using a dangerous weapon in the Waukesha Christmas Parade murders. Judge Jennifer Doro sentenced Brooks to 6 life sentences.
On counts 1 through 6, this court is imposing a life sentence without the possibility or eligibility for extended supervision consecutive to one another.
The sentences will run consecutively, she said. You have absolutely no remorse for anything that you do. You have no empathy for anyone, Doro said.
Frankly, Mr. Brooks, no one is safe from you. This community can only be safe if you are behind bars for the rest of your life.
And an additional 762.5 years for reckless endangerment. Judge Jennifer Doro added 3 years each for 2 bail jumping convictions and 9 months for domestic battery.
On count 74 and 75, the 2 felony counts of bail jumping, the court is ordering a 6-year sentence total on each count, 3 years of initial confinement, 3 years of extended supervision, consecutive to all other counts but concurrent with one another.
City of Waukesha officials welcomed the trial's end. I am thankful that the jury found the defendant guilty on all counts, said Mayor Sean Riley. We can now refocus on taking steps forward as a community and continue the healing process. The victims' families, as well as our first responders, continue to deal with the lasting effects of the horrors of that day, said Police Chief Dan Thompson. Jeremy Christian is accused of his involvement in a violent incident that took place on a Max Light Rail train in Portland, Oregon in May 2017. Jeremy Christian boarded the train and began yelling racist rhetoric and hate speech at 2 young women. Christian yelled Muslims at 2 black teenage girls, one wearing a hijab. His tirade was loud and aggressive. One man, Sean Ford, stood between Christian and the girls to block them from Christian's view. Fletcher, then 21, joined Ford, telling Christian to shut up and leave the girls alone. Namkai Meche, who was 23, approached Christian, holding out his cell phone. You're about to be an internet sensation, Namkai Meche told him. Christian slapped the phone out of Namkai Meche's hand before he could press record. The situation escalated, and Christian attacked the 3 men with a knife. Ricky John Best and Taliesin Merdin Namkai Mechi were fatally stabbed, while Micah David Cole Fletcher survived but sustained severe injuries. Jeremy exits the train with the bloody knife in his hands, threatening everyone on the train station to get out of his way while he flees from the crime scene. Jeremy Christian was arrested shortly after the incident and was charged with multiple crimes, including 2 counts of aggravated murder, attempted murder, and intimidation. At the sentencing hearing, Hester and family members of the men stabbed testified and delivered an emotional and heartbreaking statement about how the crime affected them and their daily lives and families.
I wish that I could look you in the face as I say this. Your crime, Mr. Christian, was not only the murder of my brother, but robbery. You robbed me of one of my favorite people on this planet.
Christian's lawyer argued that Christian has neuropsychological dysfunction that makes it difficult for him to control his emotions or behavior, demonstrated in the courtroom as recently as yesterday. Just before he was sentenced, Christian gave a rambling statement in which he blamed his victims, denied being a racist, and insisted he had been defending himself.
What did I tell you?
Go back to Tennessee too.
You can.
We don't want you here. All your race baiting bull. You ain't gonna be mayor either. You ain't gonna be mayor either.
In February 2020, after a high-profile trial, Jeremy Christian was found guilty on 12 counts, including 2 counts of first-degree murder. In June 2020, he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison without the possibility of parole.